give Mr. Daniel a couple more minutes to see if he joins us. But he has noticed and in fact contacted my chambers earlier this week. So I know he's aware that this is going on.
Okay, Your Honor.
All right, why don't we get started? I've got that it's almost 10:10. If Mr. Daniel does join us, we can try to get him up to speed. But Ms. Morrison, let me tell you what I understand the situation to be, and then I will hear from you as to what you think ought to happen. You had a piece of real estate on Lenox Road. It's Unit D, as in Delta 46. That you attempted to sell to Mr. Daniel. You and Mr. Daniel entered into a contract that had a requirement that Mr. Daniel pay $3,500 in earnest money, which is sitting in the registry of the court. And that's why we're here, is where should this money go? There was a financing contingency for 25 days that expired in the middle of September of last year that would have enabled Mr. Daniel to withdraw from the contract, from the purchase and sale agreement, and get his earnest money back if he let you know on or before September 16th that he could not line up the funding. In other words, it was contingent on him lining it up. I think he let you know early on that he had been pre-approved for some amount from Bank of America. But ultimately, he reached out to you after that deadline saying, I can't do it. I can't line up the funding. And I want to withdraw. And I want my earnest money back. But it looks like the work that he did to confirm he could not get the money, and more importantly, to let you know he wanted to withdraw, was after these various deadlines. You, in the meantime, had removed a tenant from D46, and so were foregoing some rent while you waited closure on the unit and sale to Mr. Daniel. And so, as I understand your argument, there are two bases for it. One is, under the terms of the contract, I'm entitled to it because he terminated after the financing contingency expired. But number two, just sort of basic fairness, you actually were prejudiced by the deal not going through because you lost out on rent by having a tenant leave because you were thinking you were going to sell the place. Mr. Daniel talked about having some issues he's working through and that maybe he wasn't even competent to enter into the contract. Today would be the day for him to back that up with some evidence, but he's not here right now. You can share with me what you want to share with me. What I'd like you to do is first either amplify on what I described, saying, well, it's not quite that way, Judge. Here's how it went down. But then talk about whatever else you think you want to share.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think you have everything you've stated so far is accurate. The only other thing that if I might add, his loan denial letter from Bank of America was dated September 28th, which is a full 23 days before he actually notified me of his unilateral intent to terminate the agreement on October 21st. Mm-hmm. And then his reason, I think you might have said this, but initially when he sent the unilateral notice to terminate, the reason stated was, I quote, loan was denied. And then after we had the exchanges around me removing my tenant and the financial contingency date had passed, and I was not open to returning the earnest money. On October 26th, his reason for terminating the contract changed from not being able to secure the loan to being incompetent to enter into a contract.
Got it. How did you know Mr. Daniel before, or this is a stranger on stranger contract?
Stranger on stranger contract, Your Honor.
Do you have a tenant back in D46?
I do not. I have it under contract again to close in April, but the unit has been vacant since I removed the tenant in anticipation of the sale to Mr. Daniel.
Okay. How long had it been a rental unit for you?
4 years.
Was that why you bought it? Was it an investment, or you used to live there and then when you moved out, you had someone else move in?
I used to live there. And once I moved out, it became a rental property.
Okay, great. I don't have any other questions. I understand your position. You've articulated it quite well and reasonably and in a level-headed manner. So I think I know what I'm going to do here. I need to enter an order that disperses the money. What would help me, have you been in contact with Ms. Niles, my staff attorney?
I have not, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you her email. Has she not sent you emails about, you somehow knew to be here today, so you've received emails from her.
I'm not sure, Your Honor, what's going on with the notification system, but for whatever reason, I don't get the notifications from the court. So I've signed up for, I'm not sure if it's separate from the court, a service that notifies me when an action has been taken on my case, and that's how I got the notification. And additionally, the closing attorneys for the property had forwarded the hearing information to me as well.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. We're not trying to hide from you. Do you have a piece of paper to write down Ms. Niles' email address?
Sure. Yes, I do, Your Honor.
All right. It's Monica, MONICA dot Niles, and that's like the river with an S on the end. Okay. Monica dot Niles at, and then all one big word, Fulton County, GA. Fulton County, GA.
Okay.
.gov.
Thank you. And you're saying Monica with an M?
Yeah, Monica. So M as in Michael, O, N as in Nancy, ICA. Monica.Niles, like the river, but with an S, at FultonCountyGA.gov. That's Ms. Niles' email address. She's my staff attorney. If you could send her, please, the name you want on the way this will work is that the clerk's office is going to send a check to you or to whomever you tell me to send it to, because the order that I will enter will say, here's what's happening. The money in the registry goes to whatever name you provide, but I also need a mailing address because during the pandemic, the clerk's office prefers to send it rather than having people come in and pick it up. So if you will give Ms. Niles the name you want on the check, so that person can cash the check, as well as the address to which it should be sent. My order will indicate that's what should happen. And I don't know how quickly it occurs. I assume it would just be within a couple weeks. If it's not, you should reach out to Ms. Niles and we can ask the clerk's office what the holdup is. But they will disperse the money from the registry to wherever you tell me to send it.
All right, I will do that, Your Honor. Thank you.
Great. Anything else?
No, nothing else from my side. Thank you very much for your time.
Well, you're very welcome. That's what I'm supposed to do when we have a case like this. I'm glad you're able to, hopefully, knock wood, complete the closing on the unit in the coming months. And that will be one less thing for you to worry about.
Indeed. Thank you.
All right. So Ms. Niles will look for that information from you. Once we get that, I'll take care of an order that closes out the case and disperses the funds. Anything else we need to cover?
Not at all, Your Honor. Thank you again for your time.
Take care.